Check. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Lifer Show, baby. Let's go. I'm going to put the lemon into the water. We're still doing it. I drink it all the time, all day, religiously. Changes my blood sugar, man. But look, we just got a short squeeze for Bitcoin to 27,300. Getting a little bit of a pump here. Let's talk about it. Let's break down Bitcoin and the monthly candle close. So far, look, I mean, the diamond played out as suggested. The reversal diamond back to the upside. We should reverse back up. We had to get a candle to close on the 1 hour and the 4 hour, preferably above 27,250 to remain bullish. So far, we're getting the 4 hour candle back above resistance. This is a key idea here. And look, if you just look at the concept that I pointed out, this is a falling wedge here. 1, 2, and we're coming back to the top of the wedge. There was also bullish divergence on Bitcoin that we pointed out at the beginning of the night, in the morning, actually, at about 7 in the morning, right? And we'll show you what that looks like here. But there was a bullish divergence. Swing down to swing down. Well, this swing to the upside, that told you that should be your low for the day. We got to pump back to the upside. Also, what I saw here is doesn't this resemble an Adam and Eve double bottom? An Adam and Eve double bottom here. Let's take a look at this. I mean, there's your Adam, there's your Eve. Isn't that weird? And the measured move of the Adam and Eve to the upside would be this move, and that's exactly what happened for the Adam and Eve double bottom. So it's insane how the Adam and Eve double top played out, the Adam and Eve double bottom played out to the upside. Idea is that this is kind of a shoulder, a head, right shoulder. Not pretty, though. More Adam and Eve makes more sense to me to the upside. So Bitcoin got a bit of a pump, and I wasn't going to touch Bitcoin. I did not long that divergence, I'll tell you that right now, especially not on Wednesday after, an up and down week. But I was waiting at least for Bitcoin to come down and retest the zone, which it did right here. See, it came right there and retested the previous high at 27,260 and got the move to the upside. Bang, bang, bang. So, amazing. This was an Adam and Eve to me, too, in a little bit, right? That came to the downside. So, shout out to everyone that may or may not have played this idea here or just kind of looked at it and decided to learn from the session. But that, to me, was a reversal diamond. So far, the reversal diamond did play out back to the upside. What a move for Bitcoin, all right? Adam and Eve double bottom played out, too, for a move to the upside, and we defied what could have been a bear flag and started to make a move. Interesting pump for Bitcoin as we hold back above the previous resistance as support now at 27,250. Bitcoin pumping hard to 27,388 on a nice move to the upside. If we look at this bigger channel, up, down, we're coming to the top of the channel. Shout out to Hannah King for becoming an exclusive lifer. Thank you for being a member. You can now be a member to the channel if you would ever so like, for a very minimal monthly fee. You can jump on in and become a member if you like. All that does is make you an exclusive member on the live stream, give you, some emojis to chat with, and we'll be doing free member streams just for the members. About a couple times a month, we'll be doing, and mainly for mentality and ideas, behind the scenes. All right. So let's break it down. Let's show you the charts. Let's have some fun today on the monthly candle close. So we had the diamond, like I just had drawn here, but deleted, right? Because I'm Slowby. We take a look here, and this was the diamond that we had drawn. All right. Then we had the idea that this was a Adam and Eve double bottom here. Look at that. Adam and Eve double bottom, and the measured move of the Adam and Eve double bottom would be this. And we played out to the upside. That's kind of similar where we went. We also got back above the 200 SMA finally on the 7-minute. It's been a while since we got back above that. All right. About 24 to 48 hours. Now we're back above it. And I've seen little pumps come out of it once you get back above the 200 SMA on that 7-minute time frame. All right. I want to look at Bitcoin and that monthly close for Bitcoin. All right. So we're going to be looking at BTC, USDT, maybe on Binance US. That's a good enough place to go. All right. I removed the moving averages for now just so I can look for clarity. And let's go on over to that monthly candle close, shall we? And let's take a look at what happened to Bitcoin and the monthly candle. All right. Stop that. So here's the deal. The monthly candle was a red candle. All right, let's talk about where we began, where we ended, what happened. So Bitcoin on the monthly candle close opened at 29,260. The high was $29,912.14. The low was 25,873, and the candle would close at 27,223.43. It would go down $2,000, down 6.99%, basically down 7% on the month. So we got rejected at about 29K, and we battled between the highs of 25. That wick also does show some buy pressure, though, to the upside. All right, for the monthly candle close. The only thing, too, is the monthly starting to get high. After being exhausted down for such a long time, the monthly starting to get a little high. You can see that on the stochastics. However, I've seen massive moves come out when the monthly just crossed the dotted line, so it's not something to be too scared about, but it's just something that I am putting on the radar. The monthly is beginning its move back to the upside after that massive move. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 green months in a row for Bitcoin. Pretty amazing for a pre-halving year, if you ask me. Pretty bullish. So that's the monthly close. All right, not amazing, and we kind of follow it off right here with this monthly, but that's just the monthly close, right? High at 29,250, the low of 25,823, and we would lose $2,000 about, on the all-time history index, it says 6.94%, right? Good evening, Sam. Just an email saying, as of July 1st, I won't be able to use Bybit anymore. Looking for a new exchange. Any suggestions? I'm in Canada. God bless. We like MEXC, all right? No KYC MEXC, you know what I mean? Jump into MEXC today. That is the place to go. That's where most people are jumping on in, and we have a link to MEXC if you need it. All right. You can also use Bolsadex if you want, which is just like using Binance.com. Also have a link there too, but you do need to use a VPN. So completely up to you though. Make sure you're in the right, not doing, make sure you're always doing everything by the law and doing what you have to do wherever you're at. But just one thing to think about. All right. So we use MEXC, KuCoin, Binance, through Bolsadex if you have to. I mainly use KuCoin and MEXC. Those are the exchanges. And I onboard from Binance US and Coinbase. That is how I get it done. All right. So you can see kind of we're in this channel too for the monthly here. We need this monthly to close bullishly. Otherwise, you can close a bearish candle here on the monthly and slight tweezer tops right here too. Monthly doesn't look too bad though, with the MACD just getting across and some big movement here. Also for a sell-off on the monthly, that wasn't bad. Only a $2,000 sell-off. It could have been so much different. Shout out to everybody here. Links are down below. Love is the strongest frequency. God bless you, Crypto Bear Baker in the house. Shout out to Guns and Loaded. Shout out to PS5 Future of Gaming in the house. Shout out to Ishmael Smith. Shout out to Justin Crypto asking about XRP. Shout out to Marcus1123. Shout out to Doug. Shout out to Caden Casey. Shout out to In Due Time and GF Burke, Hannah King, Mike, Lost Prophet, Cryptoverse, You Lift Bro 45. Shout out to Badry 84. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live stream. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for coming in for the monthly candle close. We don't go too crazy with the monthly candle close. Just a few things of the monthly, a couple coins that I'm looking at, and then we kind of rest easy for the night. It's been an intense couple of days to trade. Hard on the mind, hard on the brain, with Bitcoin kind of playing some games here. And it's been up and down for a while here for Bitcoin, right? So, and of course, I eventually delete. I always try to keep my work, but it never happens because I eventually just delete through it, which is kind of sad, but it's also good in a way. So let's break it down. Let's be open-minded here. Let's see what's happening on the weekly. The weekly looks like it's just getting started. If I slap on the moving averages, this still pertains. The idea that the weekly, if it stays above the 200 SMA, I remain bullish. So even though everyone's got a little bit of fear shaken up in their panties, excuse my language, in their pants, it looks like, to me, as long as we stay above the 200 SMA, we are still bullish. The trade that we opened up here is actually still in profit. Would have been in huge profit before that red candle, but it is still in profit. And I put this out to free on Twitter, just opening up along right when we were right near the 200 SMA on the weekly, using the 21 as a stop loss. And as long as we don't go below the 21 and the 200 SMA, we have a likelihood of a move. 21 crossing the 202. We went over this on the weekly on multiple ideas, multiple frame. I basically showed you Tesla, gold, oil, a bunch of different assets, and showed you that when the 21 did cross the 200 SMA on the weekly, it was a big sign. So you could take that however you want it. Also, our next big area of liquidity is 38,000. So it's not all bad. All right. It's not all bad. It feels a little murky, but it's not all bad. We also go to the 3-day, and the 3-day is aggressively turning to the upside. MACD is aggressively pointing to the upside. And we're also in this falling wedge here for Bitcoin on the RSI, which tells me that there could be a massive move coming for Bitcoin. And again, the measured move here is the first one. But if we take the whole length of the pole, that thing can get busy all the way up to about 42,900. All right, I'm not guaranteeing these things are happening. I'm just showing you the measured moves by lengths of the pole. This is also a very large cup and handle for Bitcoin. All right, very large cup and handle. Sammy Cup and Handy to the upside. They don't call me Samuel Cup and Handle for no reason. So here's the deal. That's just kind of what we see happening, beginning to brew for Bitcoin. All right. And we're getting this massive move up in the Stokes, massive move up in the MACD, and this falling wedge here on the RSI tells me that there could be some movement for Bitcoin. Movement. Get it? Movement. Anyway, the daily wants to come back down. So when I look at this and I look at this bigger picture, you can see we're definitely getting rejected here. And I wouldn't be surprised if the daily decides to come back down and test this level here. And it wouldn't even be that freaked out. It would come here, it would click, just up, down, up, down, up, down. This is what patterns do. And you would trade inside of a channel. So the daily does want to push us down to the downside. What could save this from happening? What can stop this from going down? Let's break it down. Let's talk about it with each and every one of you after we've kind of seen that monthly candle close. And now we're back in action here. Didn't think you were going to see me tonight. Who had no idea they were going to see me tonight? Be honest. Be honest. You're like, I didn't think we were going to see Sammy Boami tonight, but we did. And now you got me all night long, baby. Shout out to my dad, man. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. They will never erase you, Dad. Never in a million years. I love you, Dad, more than you would ever know. Shout out to all my beautiful souls out here. If you've lost a loved one, you know how it is. But God bless each and every one of you for being here, coming through with the lifer, showing your love, showing signs of love with the lifer, baby. I'm pumped up. You can see I'm getting bigger and bigger every week. Getting the traps bigger, getting the back bigger, getting the biceps bigger, just pumping up, doing push-up after push-up, diamond after diamond. I'm taking my pain out on my workouts, man. And that's what a man should do. Push through your workouts, man or woman, but a man, that nitty-gritty, just grinding every single day. Shout out to all my lovers of life. Shout out to you all. We love you more than you would ever know. Velo H Bar is that Mark Wahlberg. I lost my dad last year in June, man. So sorry to hear that. Falsal Salim, man. God bless you, brother. Feels like yesterday, man. RP to your pops and mine. Shout out to Jason Ferriani, man. Sorry that you lost your pops too as well, man. And we're in the Lost Pop Club. You never let us down, the Iron Man of crypto. Shout out to Patrick Bellini. We love you. RIP cousin Arlen. Shout out to Arlen. Wait, just tweeted about you. Dude, I love it, man. I love the Wait token. You gotta love the team. And they're doing damage. You know what I mean? They're doing damage. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. You had to have seen that interview that I just did. There was so much alpha in that interview. He told you about a billionaire backing the Wait token. Told you about it moving into a game. Thanks for having me to talk about Wait and Ben. Have a great time. Had a great time. Jet is what a nice person too. Well-spoken, really good energy. Definitely want to have him back on whenever. Oops, did I say that out loud? You start an Hourglass. Wait. And look, Crypto RS, my man. Even putting us out there right there, breaking it down. Jet is so sexy. Yeah, it's so funny. Man, look at my face when he's as if I was reading the comment. You know what I mean? Shout out to Crypto Ross, man. We love you. Thank you for always hanging out and coming through, man. We appreciate that. And you can see the connection. We're just a loyal group of networkers in the space, getting it done. And if you don't know about Wait Token, now you do. We put it definitely on the map to the lifers and spread this interview. If you just came from the interview and you popped on in and you're like, wow, Sam did a live stream earlier. He did an interview at 2, and now he's back here again. This guy does not quit. BitBoy starting to trend again with 44,000 tweets. Can't wait to see that starting to rev on up with Ben and Wait. It can't hurt every time Ben and Wait is in the mix. We are moving at the speed of light. Shout out to my lovers of life. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. I appreciate you all for being here with me. All right. So I wouldn't be surprised if the daily token does come on down. However, it is hanging out at a level of liquidity that's very, very interesting. Right here, right? Where you can see bounce, 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 bounce. Now we had some, push up right there, and that's going to be I'm going to put a line there. That's going to be our secondary area of resistance for Bitcoin. All right. But, so far, so good, as we got a wick back to the upside on a buyback from 26.8 all the way back to the upside here for the daily candle. Let's take a look at our 22-hour. Our 22-hour is starting to round too, which is interesting. I've seen those rounding outs. They're not the worst thing in the world. In the 6-hour, saying, hey, we could make some bacon on the beach. right? And this is this bigger, the small. So here's the smaller flag, which also kind of an ascending cup and handle here, right? And we're kind of stopped short at this level. The 6 hour suggests that we could get a massive move out of this to the upside and still end up breaking out of the bigger channel. So only time will tell, all right? Is more likely we come to the bottom of the channel. That's just kind of what happens. But, you know, we had this bullish divergence here. And it was even strong on the 6 hour time frame. If you can see it here, look, swing up to swing up while this swung flat or to the downside. And so this is kind of what we talk about here in the channel is bullish divergences, what most people will miss. Low stochastics, low RSI with the MACD turning, and you get that push back to the upside, all right? Then we found the bullish divergence earlier today on the 7-minute, and we got that other push to the upside. It's like a micro version of the macro idea that we're looking at, all right? So breaking it down, I mean, it looks, you know, it seems kind of iffy. It's a little sketch. And look, I won't, you know, I'm gonna keep it real with you. This is definitely our big resistance point. So Bitcoin has to get back above 27,500 to remain bullish. Look, resistance. And again, we talked about that before. And when we got back above, it was so beautiful. Then we retested. Things were looking great. But I always say, once you retest, look out for the M pattern. And we made an M right there, clear as dizzy day. All right. So the M told you to short the market, and you shorted the market to the M. That's it. Back to the area of high liquidity. All right. And you can even gap through this VRVP and hit the high volume node right there for a bounce back to the upside. Right now, the 4 hour desperately wants to make a pump back to the upside. And even look at the 4 hour. Something that I want to point out is my old friend HBD. No, it's not a sexually transmitted disease. Get your head out of your. It is hidden bullish divergence, HBD, not HPV. So look at this. This is a swing up. This is a swing down. That tells me that the trend should continue back to the upside. We should break this previous high and get a move on. It's not guaranteed, but it's a very strong indicator that we could get a move to the upside. With the Stokes pointing up, the MACD turning, all looks quite lovely. So I like what I'm seeing on the 4 hour. I like what I'm seeing on the 6 hour, the 8 hour, the 22 could be bending. The daily looks a little sketch. It would have to get pushed up by that momentum on the smaller time frames. And the 1 hour is getting a bit over bojito, overbought, if you'd ask me, right? Over bojito, if you know what I mean. Over mojitos. No, we can't talk over mojitos. I stopped doing that. But if you caught me in when I was 19, I remember having a mojito. First time I ever had a mojito, I was 19, visiting my sister in Los Angeles, and we were at a rooftop party with a bunch of, you know, I think my sister was older than me, so she was like 26, 25, something like that. And her friends were a little older. It was like a 40-year-old, maybe like a 30-year-old couple. And they were making mojitos on the rooftop as we looked at the sunset. And they were in the valley. You could see like the Hollywood sign. I remember that vividly, and it was 21 years ago. I still remember being 19, and there was this French couple with this big dog, and the guy would roll spliffs every morning, and he would see me, and I would talk with him, and I'd drink coffee. My sister would go to work, and I would roam around with the random people in the apartment building at the time. And this French couple loved me, let me kind of come in and out of their apartment and say, what up? Super cool. And, you know, I remember he was like, how old are you? And I was like, 19. He's like, oh, you have your whole life to live. He must have been like 44 or 45 at the time. And I look back on those times and man, wow, my life began to fly by, right? You know, my dad passing is the end of an era for me. Sorry. I wasn't crying. I actually just kind of got like, you know, a little bit of back test there, if you know what I mean. Back, whatever you want. But, you know, my dad passing is the end of an era for me. It's a time for me to like actually like it's making me become the strongest person I've ever been. Like this is the hardest thing I've ever had to go through because you're never ready for it, right? You could, you know, and I knew my dad wasn't feeling the best, but I listened to his message that he left me Friday afternoon and he sounded pretty good. Like he didn't sound like someone that was going to pass, you know, if you ask me. Funny, some inside things going on in our entire system It's getting kind of crazy here. So anyway, so Bitcoin got the pump, but it has a resistance that it can't seem to get back above. Like, this is heavy resistance zone right here. So if we can't get back above, the 1 hour is going to turn us back down and probably retest the bottom of this channel. And then we could test the bigger bottom of the bigger channel. So these are the two things that I'm watching out for. And, you know, yes, we got the candle closed, but can we get the 4 hour to close above 27,250? We cannot. We can find, we got, let's see. Nah, we wicked there. We kind of got this candle to close. I'd like another candle to close, though. We got 2 candles, 3 candles to close. Change the game a little bit right now. But honestly, Bitcoin's kind of sketchy right now. And indecision, this is chop. Indecision chop for Bitcoin, in my humble opinion. We were able to catch that smaller diamond, I guess, of the 7 minute that, you know, for the quick retrace back up. And we found this bullish divergence on the 7 minute time frame. That's a strong bullish divergence. I will give you that. And it's a swing up to swing up here with the swing down. We saw this on the live stream earlier. Suggested we could get back above, but we had to close the candle back above 27,002. We did that. Now we're coming back for it. So they're like showing levels, and they're just kind of going up and down and just kind of mashing people on either way. So look, I mean, we just had a short squeeze to the upside with a massive sell, a massive buy wall really right there. And now they're coming back down. However, they didn't fill the liquidity that they had throughout the day. Down into the lower zones, right? They have a 26.8 area right now, and they are basically liquidating longs as we speak after they just liquidated shorts. You can tell they're just kind of going after to see who has the most liquidity. That's really what I'm seeing today, right? So what do I see happening? Like, what goes on from here? Well, to me, it's all about the 1 hour time frame and the 15 minute. You know, I want to see what they have in store. And right now they're telling us that they want to drop back to the downside. This is a rising wedge, and rising wedges break down 68% of the time. So you would suggest that this would break down. All right. And we're looking for this to come right back. And we know the level that we're looking for is here, or we could possibly double bottom off of this level here at 26,800. We do see BOOKMAP has a level there. I'll be looking for a short on the 15 or the 1 hour time frame back to the downside. All right. Yes, I like the 4 hour, but it doesn't mean it's all glory. And, you know, the 22 could render more pain, and the daily definitely is pushing to the downside. This could have been just the last liquidity grab to get more people kind of entranced into a bit of a long to get more people going down. And look, now here comes the dump to the downside with long liquidity getting smashed to the downside. So what would I be doing? I'd be sitting on my hands. I don't see a great trade right now at the present moment. If you didn't enter the short at 28,300 area right here or even here, it's, to me, you know, the short last night was the play, and I would stay short unless you can get back above 27,500. That's going to be that main area. You get back above there, you broke out of this channel, we can kind of get rid of these old woes, and there's a chance we could continue to grow. So, but right now I see a movement to the downside. I really do, based on the 1 hour and the 15 minute. 15 minute is starting its descent to the downside too, and that's a rising wedge likely to break to the downside. First level to watch for liquidity grabs is 26,859. Then we could go lower to 26,650, and then I would expect a bounce. Then you'd be very oversold on the 15. And possibly resetting on the 1 hour, and then the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the 15 could get a move back to the upside. However, it could just be another resistance zone and we could go back down again, but at least it could be a quick scalp pump for a Thursday. Remember, heading into Thursday too, after a rough week and, you know, a slower week because they cut off our Monday. So just remember, whenever Monday gets cut off, the week, I'll be honest, I hate to say this, but the week becomes a bit of a wash. I've seen it happen many, many times. And I know you might look at me and just be like, what is he saying? But if you keep trading with me for long periods of time, you're going to see how certain things happen over time, over and over again. Whenever we have that Monday market close, tends to kind of disrupt the rest of the week. We also now are getting into the Fed meeting. All right, our next Fed meeting is the 13th to the 14th. That means on the 14th, they're going to either raise or lower interest rates. So we're back in the grind again, back in that, you know, tight area, right? Then we have July. Then we'll get off for August and have to come back in September. And then it's back again for 3 more ideas and 3 more possible rate hikes or stop rate, you know, and we'll see what happens. Right now, there's some scrutiny, but the inflation in the EU is out of control. In America, they're trying to pawn it off as okay, but it's out of control in the EU. Inflation is just out of absolute control. So they could be putting pressure on us to stop rate hikes in the US because, you know, they're not, you know, they're not out of the water yet here. And if we continue to tighten monetarily, what it does, see, you're in a no-win situation here. You tighten monetarily and you lose jobs bad, right? And look, there's that dumpage on the 15-minute. 15-minute Stokes were telling you we were about to start coming down. I see this falling wedge continue to go down to the downside, at least till a double bottom at 26,894. And look at the massive long squeeze here, starting to squeeze them longs all the way to the 26,800 liquidity zone. Look at that massive volume just came in too for some more long liquidations. This is BOOKMAP. Link in the description below to BOOKMAP. Keep you moving, keep you going. All right. It can tell you where the liquidity is. See what's behind the candles. That's the best way to describe it. You'll see candle bodies, but do you want to see the actual moves behind the candle body? Shout out to RIP Jimmy Price. Shout out to Cesar Cordero. God bless you, brother. And so interesting to see like random people saying, not random people, but lifers that never met my dad saying my dad's name. That's respect on my dad, man. That's respect on you. May God bless you for doing that. Everyone who has, the guts to throw down and keep my father's name alive, I'll remember you for the rest of my life. This channel has been doing something amazing for me, therapeutically, beautifully. Every single one of you that are here, I love each and every one of you. More downside coming, Sam. I just joined. I do see more downside coming down to 26,800 as we're starting this falling wedge back to the downside. They played price back up only to get people a little excited. Now we're back below the zone that we had to stay above. We had to close candles and stay above this previous resistance, and we're struggling to the downside. I see Bitcoin headed back either here for a double bottom or even lower to the 26,687. Shout out to Keys Kanger, and he's in profit. God bless you, man. You've done a lot of us as well as you're a good dude, crypto aside. God bless you, Theta and Hex. Hold hands, man. Huddle hands, man. We love you, man. Thank you, Theta and Hex. God bless you, brother. I hope it keeps going to 26,800. Hey, man, just raise your stop and keep yourself going. Take profits when you can. No one ever went broke taking profits. Again, I'm not a financial advice. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. Please get yourself a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence before getting into any project, coin, or trade. Now it gets wicked back to the upside. I tell you what, this night is crazy. I wouldn't trade this. I don't trust the price action the last few days. It's been wacky, tacky all over the place. You know what I mean? It really has. I guess you could try to pull a fib here and say we came to the 886, or you go a little lower to that area. Did we hit a 706 retracement for a move back up? Only time will tell. We are retesting right on the previous diamond. We will meet our fathers in heaven. God bless you, Faisal Salim. Thank you for saying that, man. Tian XRPZ. Fly high, Mr. Price. We love you, man. Thank you for saying that. Shout out to Crypto Bear Baker. Shout out to Lifer Adam. Jimmy will live forever. Lifer, we love you, brother. God bless you, man. What time does Hong Kong start? About 8 p.m. at night, they open up. All right. So they're about 12 hours ahead of us. So their 8 a.m. is our 8 p.m. All right. So we did bounce off this mass zone of liquidity here. But again, and I'm trying to see it differently. I'm attempting to see it differently. I'm looking at all different charts to kind of see if I can see something different that I didn't see before. We basically called that diamond reversal with the bullish divergence, even though it was unlikely we could get back above the zone, but we did. All right. So is there any? Let me just see if there's anything I'm missing. One over the daily, one over the weekly. I showed you the bigger time frames and how they don't look too shabby, and things aren't the worst in the game. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing something. I want to see if there's just honestly. It's this trend line that we're contending with. I guess you could say, is there a middle trend line? I guess in a way, there's this middle line. You can almost kind of put that in there and say, okay, could we hold that middle line and get a bounce? There's a chance. I've seen that happen before. So that's kind of what we're looking at, this diagonal trend line. It's a new thing that I've added that I haven't seen until now that I'm, attempting to I'm opening my mind. I want to see what's going down, right? And then we know that we have this bigger falling wedge. It just is what it is. And this is the falling wedge that I'm showing you on the smaller time frame that we're likely to come back down to and test this level. And you can see this level is right here too. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing here for Bitcoin. And we have to, and then you can see this major resistance zone that we can't get back above at 27,485. So that's going to be the super is holding real strong, holding on to the 50 on the 15 minute. If you only had $300, would you trade Bitcoin or Altum or Altums? It depends on how good I was at whatever I was doing. We are retesting right on the previous diamond. Yeah, I see what you're saying too. I agree with that. When I looked at my other work, it was like, there's the diamond, and we're kind of retesting the outside of the diamond. If we look at the 7-minute time frame, and we bring that diamond back in, I did see what you were saying. My brain said that at the last minute. It's like, oh, we're retesting the diamond. See, like we're retesting the diamond right there. And there's a point of control right there too. Could we hold in a high volume node? Now, if you zoom out a little bit, just doesn't look amazing. I have to be honest, you know. And even if we do retest, it's a bunch of chop. You know, it's a bunch of chop for me personally. So 7-minute could get a bounce back to the upside here. 15-minute looks like it wants to come down even further to the downside. So then I go and I make this rising wedge that basically to me already broke down, and it's probably likely coming down. I say we go lower. 26,800 is our next target. I think that's highly more likely right now, but you never know. Possible, yeah. Hello from Naples, Florida. Shout out to Organic Joint. God bless you, brother. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate you for being here. So weird how fast it goes dark. It was light outside a second ago, and I start the live stream and it just goes dark immediately. So, you know, we went over the monthly close. We talked about that. Let's see if there's any kind of coins that are bubbling up tonight. Honestly, I would be wary of the market tonight. Just me, you know. I mean, there's money to be made every single night, but there's some nights that are just better than others. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Funny, Highbird's back in the low after that diamond did take it down. Came back up again, did a double top, and eventually had its fun. All the down tokens are gaining, right? All the down tokens, all the 3S tokens, they're kind of the talk of the town right now, all right? Remember, ARPA tends to pump whenever Bitcoin dumps. So we'll take a look at ARPA here on KuCoin, ARPA. But even that took a beat down after its original pump to the upside there. Look, a beautiful pump up, like some 168% or something. Coming back down on the daily, but it is oversold in the daily. If we took initial to initial, it's somewhere in that golden pocket 706 area. Not the worst in the world. 3-day chart still has some pain, though. I would wait for that 3-day chart to reset before I jumped on in. CASP was on my radar, too, with this beautiful retracement. We'd get flushed out for a little more lower prices, but after that wick up and this hidden bullish divergence, I like where Casper's sitting, and it took 40 days for this retracement. I could see in 2 months from now or less a 258% gains for Casper. So Casper's something I definitely DCA'd into and begin to build a bit of a bag, and this level was really, really scrumptious and nice for me. Also talking about injective protocol, the 3-day chart still looks absolutely amazing with hidden bullish divergence, lack of bearish momentum. Yeah, we have a little bit of a struggling on that red candle, but as long as we can kind of stay above this, go sideways, make a bit of a flag, or continue to move, I like what I'm seeing for this cup and handle for injective. The measured move would be 1490. All we need is Bitcoin to go somewhat sideways. So my two winners for the next 2 weeks that I'm looking at closely are Casper and injective protocol. Again, you do whatever makes you happy. These are just ideas that I'm throwing out there, things that I'm looking at, all right, to break it down. Okay. And people are still tweeting about Bank on Tap Tools. They're all over it. It's pretty crazy how much love it's getting, all right? But if you just followed that interview that I just did with Jet, he's of the Hourglass Collective, right? And it was created by the Hourglass Wait community members to elevate the Web3 space. And this is awesome, right? And you can buy Wait token. I started buying Wait token. You saw me 2 months ago, all right? And to me, this is like the best chart to watch right now. This is the most obvious chart. It's the daily. And the daily suggests that we have more downside. And first support is 25,400. The next support zone will be 22,009. Well, let's see, 22,005, 22,600. These are just going to be our next levels. Why? Well, we could bounce off the 200 SMA. Very, very likely. The 4-hour, we don't want to lose the 200 SMA, and right now we have lost it yet again. The idea is to short every time you're below it with a stop loss on the other side, all right? Long every time you get above it with a stop loss on the other side. They're not perfect, but about 80% of the time it does render a pretty nice move to the upside or to the downside, depending on how you know, if you play it down and play it low. You can see we continue to dump now, and I even called that dump at 27,300, and now we're falling further to the downside, right? And that's why people come here to the channel, because no matter what, bullish or bearish, I'm going to show you what it is. I'm not going to shy away from the facts, no matter what I see or what I want, you know? And I'm not in a trade right now. Nothing I can show you on MEXC Global. We do trade MEXC Global. It's the place to be. Why MEXC? Well, there's a big reason why we trade MEXC. And shout out to the 394 people on this impromptu monthly candle close with the Crypto Lifer. God bless each and every one of you, all right? And now we're making connections here on the channel with people from all around the world. As a Crypto Lifer, we're super excited to be here with each and every one of you every single night. But if you can see there on the screen, lowest profits, lowest fees, highest profits. And it is if you use them, if you make profits with them, you pay the least amount of fees. So we look at MEXC here, right? And I'm just signing into my MEXC account just so I can show you something real quick. Or an account, someone's account, an account. A little birds. So lowest fee, highest profit, 0% spot maker and taker fees. Zero, and I mean that. Like when you buy a coin here on the regular, spot market, it's 0 fees. All right, 0 fees. So, and look, Ben getting hemorrhaged because they lost a lot of liquidity. Kind of sad. I still hold how much Ben I lost about $400 in Ben today. You can see that, but holding Ben long term already made a boatload off of Ben. So I put in, profits, took out my original and left the profits ride, and we'll see what happens. It's house money. We'll see what happens. So I'm still up on Ben, but yeah, I mean, it is struggling. When Uniswap took them off, that created a bit of an issue there too as well. So right off the bat, resistance. Bitcoin, if it can't get back above that, expect more downside. It just is what it is. It is what it is, everyone. Like, I'm not trying to, And then remember, the smaller idea here is that's a rising wedge breaking to the downside, at least for the double bottom to the downside. Anything could happen. I could see it bouncing around. The 7-minute is now trying to plug it up and say it's oversold. But it just, to me, this is ugly. Even the whole channel is still kind of bear flaggy, in my humble opinion, that wants to continue to the downside. So I would not be surprised if we drop further down, 26.8, 26.2 even, and the more likelihood is that we move to the downside than anything. If Hong Kong pumps, debt vote will kill it. You're funny. If there's a double bottom on the daily, when you read Left Testimonials, you're in the right place. Is China trading? Where is the action? I mean, it's the 30th first, right? We're heading into the June 1st. People think that it's just going to automatically turn into a June 1st bull run. It doesn't happen like that. But we could see slow accumulation and we could see some pumpage. The coin to watch is really CFX. Whatever really happens to CFX will kind of determine what happens in the rest of the market. Also, if Bitcoin gets tanked and sold off, you're going to see a sell-off in all the coins. So it just is what it is. That's just what happens. You have to understand how much Bitcoin controls this market. But I like what I'm seeing here for this symmetrical triangle. And we're going to watch this closely. This is like the Ethereum. When you watch ETH to see how the alts are doing, you want to watch this coin. And it kind of has shoulder head and a right shoulder there. And I like CFX for a bigger move here. And this is basically the Chinese narrative coin. This one has been like green lighted by their government. So it's been okayed. Like they think it's fine. It's kind of like remember VeChain used to be like the one they loved the most. So I would watch this for a possible move. So remember, I'm not giving a lot of coins tonight. I'm looking at Caspa. I'm looking at, the pullback there for Caspa. I'm looking at Injective Protocol, and I'm looking at CFX. These are the coins that are on my radar. And remember, if Bitcoin takes a tank, this is going to tank to the downside. What I like most about it though is it kind of has this level. Like, is it going to come all the way back down to its lower bottom and lose everything it had? Highly unlikely with how much liquidity and people are into this coin. Moving averages are getting tight. Maybe it bounces to the 200 SMA. And also, when I pull the Fibonacci on this, you can see levels have already been kind of touched. Like, we could start from here, actually, after that impulse. But it came back down to, like, a 786 level, which is pretty interesting. That's, like, a known retracement level. Now it's riding the 618, and it's got a shoulder, head, and a shoulder. I wouldn't be surprised if Conflux started a bigger move to the upside on this daily time frame. Look at our 22-hour, too. Looks like it's about to pump. So I'd be watching Conflux for a move to the upside. And remember, there's always opportunity in the market. While everyone freaks out and doesn't pay attention, there's always opportunity in the market. Another safer play and idea is, a coin that's getting used all the time. Like the MEXC coin, and I own, I do own some of these coins. I just want to put that out there to disclose. But, I saw a pump coming out of this to the upside, and so far it has pumped. I put this out to the trading group not too long from now, and it's already up about 8% on the day, even though there wasn't a lot of movement outside of the market. That's a nice move, and it broke back above the resistance. It does have this, double top action here, but if you can flag out and continue up, this thing is already up 8%, and my trading group, you would have been privy to this information, right? And again, today wasn't an amazing day to trade. To make 8% today on a long, I think was like basically miraculous, like a miracle type of day. So MEXC token up 8% from the original idea that I put out here, basically symmetrical triangle, ascending triangle with the move to the upside. And the daily still says that can continue to pump. The 3-day on this thing is just getting started. If you look at the 3-day chart, the 3-day chart suggests that a massive move is coming all the way back up to 390. So it's on the radar. It would eventually get a little overbought. The RSI is a little higher than I'd like. Doesn't mean it can't get that initial one more pump to the upside. So just things to think about. All right. Can you do TA on AB Arbitrum? Casper miners are going to dump in August. There's a miner coming out that is going to crush all the hash rates. So why would that make them dump when the miner would come out? I'm confused. You know what I mean? MNW's been in a run. Remember, we got this at 67 cents when it first came out. It's still in a run since we first looked at this coin. I don't know if you remember, we were starting to trade the September, October region. It was down here at 55, 60 cents, and it boomed to the upside. Then we played this cup and handle, blasted to the upside. It's kind of the shoulder, the head. It's the flattened head. I've kind of took those other coins from this idea. And I have this falling wedge here, and it's still pushing to the upside. The 3-day chart suggests that a big move is also coming for Morpheus Network. And this thing kind of runs by its own channels, too. It doesn't really seem to care about the rest of the market. I mean, whatever Bitcoin does, this will do. Don't get me wrong. I don't know how I just did that. Everything just disappeared, boss. Everything just disappeared. Could not see a word. So anyway, let's get everything back up. They took everything from me. Everything. Even my ticker. How you going to take my ticker over here? And again, I feel like I'm a little blurry. I want to see if we can get ourselves a little more clear here. Just bear with the bear right now. We will put this, because I'm standing here in front of the mic. So this is my level. You want your depth of field to be the same. You hold this where you believe you're going to be, and you make that like extra crispy. There you go. Yeah. I want to make sure you can see every nostril hair. I have pretty big nostrils. My dad did too. It is what it is. Don't make fun of me. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for being here. So MNW could go up 34%, maybe all the way to 111%. It's definitely on the radar. And the 3-day chart looks absolutely beautiful for a move coming. So again, I look at these 3-day charts when most people aren't paying attention. And, and again, today's not a day where I'm going to be posting tons of coins. It doesn't look amazing. We got to wait out this Bitcoin idea. We're in the chop. So, and then we're going to get closer to the Fed meeting. It's going to be another crazy week before that. So next week looks like the one we could get a bit of a move. Who's Jimmy? Jimmy was my dad. He passed away on May 1st into May 2nd. It was 1:45 at May 2nd at night, but he was basically kind of, in a bit of a sedated state for most of the day. They could have maybe woken him up with a kidney dialysis, and they told us to do kidney dialysis, but me and my mom had already seen him plugged up with a bunch of different machines, and it was enough. And he actually had specifically asked in a proxy not to do it. Then they airlifted him. This is the weirdest thing about it. When they airlifted him, they brought him back to life 3 or 4 times. When my mom got to see him, the doctor said they had already brought him back to life a couple times. And he said, "Where's my wallet?" And she said, "Why?" He's like, "Well, I need to get supper. How am I going to get supper?" And she's like, "You're not going to need your wallet where you're going." He was getting airlifted to the hospital. She's like, "I'll be there. I'll take care of you. Don't worry. Let me have your wallet for you." And he was still like he still had enough sense to be like, "No, I need my wallet. How am I going to get food tonight?" And the thing is, then he got airlifted to Boston. And right when he got there, I rushed there. They wouldn't let me see him. And they tell us, which we don't know to this day, that they asked him if he wanted to be intubated, and he signed a form saying he did, even though he swore up and down he never wanted any of that. But maybe on your last leg, you just say, okay, you do whatever the doctors ask. You'll say, all right. They say, we're going to intubate. It's just weird. You know what I mean? You wonder if they forced that signature, just and then you wonder if they just do things to people to raise the bills up, just to get more and more bills. You know what I mean? Oh, we did this to him, we did that. They gave him open heart surgery with a stent in his heart, right? So they gave him this insane surgery, right? Put 2 pumps in him, and then left him sedated and told me that he probably wasn't going to make it after they did this thousands of dollars, and didn't even tell us anything about the procedure. They kept saying, well, he's in a procedure. What procedure? Didn't let me see him, and then a nurse told me that she was able to talk to him. Oh, he was talking when he got here. He was asking about what was going to happen and what was going down. So and they wouldn't let me see him. I didn't get those last words. Some random person did. I could have held his hand and been like, all right, Dad, this is what they're going to do. I love you. I'll be waiting for you when you get out. And I could have heard him just tell me he loved me, and I could have shooken his hand one last time. And it was just it ripped my heart out, man. It ripped my heart out. Anyway, someone asked who Jimmy was. That's who Jimmy is. Shout out to everybody here on the live. I appreciate each and every one of you. So when you trade on MEXC, I just want you to understand that you trade with, low fees, 0 to no fees. So just remember that. All right. And, yeah. And they're true about that. There's no hidden secret here. 0 spot maker and taker fees. They're growing fast. They're 5 years old. They want to become bigger and bigger and bigger. They just really started getting big this year. More and more people knew about them. I started trading them in August of last year. So I was one of the first people to really jump on board. And now you can see everyone is jumping on after Bybit. And they intubate everyone when they put you to sleep. Yeah. How can I prepare for my father's passing? You really can't. There's no preparation for that because it's like something you've had your whole life getting just completely rug pulled. Get rug pulled a bunch of times. My dad denied getting the stent because he had friends die after them. He died anyway, but lived years longer than he was supposed to. Hey, there you go. Yeah, Mr. Price was a legend, a steel worker, forged Sammy. God bless you, brother. Stop eating plants, friends. Stop eating plants, friends, for your health, man. My man, shout out to you, man. I wish I saw my dad before you passed. God bless you, Sammy. You keep me alive. Love to the family. God bless you too, man. And you went through it with me, so many too. Still shows his strength to be making decisions in his last moments. Original gangster life. Tough, man. Shout out to John Thomas. Thank you for saying that, man. And he was an OG, man. He was an OG. And, you know, he wasn't afraid to die, too. A lot of people are afraid to die. He was not afraid to die. Probably tell him everything you always wanted to, but didn't. If you had good parents, just be grateful for them every day. Yeah, I did, man. I did. My dad was hard. He had his own issues like everyone else. Nobody is perfect, but he was, you know, he was human. None of us are perfect in this life, right? So, and again, so eventually I'll stop talking about him so much on the stream, but, you know, it is what it is. It's part of my life, and I bring you into my life every single day. Let's take a look at the ES1 and see what's happening to the E-mini futures as we enter on into the day, and we'll see how they close on the day. So they closed red, 2 red candles, but you know what? That's okay. I like that resistance point, and, you know, the daily could come back down as long as we can hold the zone. When the last few times the daily is reset, it really hasn't given a lot to the bears. So we want to see this hold the zone. All right. We will see them in the next lifer. Thank you, man. We're going there, though we didn't want to dwell on it. I remember I said, get him a massage. It's funny. Yeah, we're going there, though we didn't want to dwell on it. I remember I did say, get him a massage. You're funny. He never wanted anything like that, man. He wouldn't let anyone touch him. He would have freaked out. You know. Wish I could find my dad. Haven't seen him in 10 years. Haven't heard from him. Miss him dearly. Sorry to hear that, Cesar Cordero. Maybe one day we can go on a find Caesar's dad hunt, and we will track him down and let him know that the lifers have been looking for him, man. What did I miss? Shout out to Harris Jod. Shout out to everybody here on the live. What a beautiful group of people here every single day. Can't believe it. What a great community. Super excited to be part of the community with each and every one of you. It's a blessing to be alive with you all. Shout out to the 394 people we had on the live, 196 likes, $20 in chat revenue for this monthly candle close. Appreciate you, Sammy. Lost my dad in February, and I sit here and tell him I miss him every single day. I feel like he is here with me, helping me through everything. He must be, you know, because you know what your dad would have said. You know what I mean? You can, like, you used to call your dad to ask his advice, but you know what he was going to tell you. Like, you know, if you've been around your dad long enough, so sometimes I just need to sit alone and say, what up? You know what I mean? And then we find out what happens, you know? Shout out to Leo ACBO, keeping it up with where the Celtics fans are at, man. We're right here, man. We're right here with the most titles of any team in the game. All right. So there you go. You can take that and shove it right up. You know where we're at? We're right here with Bill Buckner. All right. We're chilling right here with Bill Buckner. You know what I mean? The other day, I have to apologize to everyone. The other day, I just held my mother crying in the basement. I started the live stream, and I was salty over that Celtics loss. I really was. I wasn't in the best place. You know, mentally and emotionally. I was feeling all right, but I wasn't in the mood, if you know what I mean. And that's rare for me. So if you give me a pass, I'd greatly appreciate it because I am not perfect. No one ever said I was, and I go live every single day of my life. So eventually you're going to see a side of me, you know, of the real side of me, and I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to be real sometimes, and sometimes I have to get it off. I have to get it off. I got my days too. Everyone has their days. If you don't have those days, then you're not a real person. If you judge me for one of my days, then who are you? That means you're the most judgmental person on earth, and you act like you've never made a mistake in your life. So that's why when everyone tries to like hold me to like a golden apple, you know, it's like, okay, you know, I'm going to do the best I can. And then from there, you got to give me some slack. I was glad I kept my chat down, though. It's so funny. Did you break your TV? Can you please chart even though it's a new chart? What do you want me to chart, though? I'm trying to see what you're talking about. Can you PLS chart even though it's a new chart? Velo up 50% this week. Velo just banging on them. And we put out Velo in the trading group. We were all over Velo. So one of the coins that actually hit, we were loving. It gave back a lot of the gains initially, but Velo did make a nice pump to the upside there, up 26% from this flag, came back down. Still could be possibly flagging for more, but we're going to wait to see what Bitcoin does. And the 1 hour also wants to push to the downside. The Heat are going to get worked by Denver. Highly likely that Denver will just crush the Heat. You know what I mean? But we'll see. So let's look at Pulse Chain, PLS on, we'll look at it on OKX, all right? And wow, it came out hot and just took a dump peasy all the way to the downside. However, it's starting to kind of form that bullish divergence. This is the definition of bullish divergence as you're swinging up on the 1 hour while you're swinging down, RSI swinging up. That could kind of start this pump back to the upside. I do have Pulse Chain. I got in and did the sacrifice. We'll see what happens. Hex has been getting absolutely railed. But if you believe in Hex long term, might be a good place to jump on in. Again, for me, I'm not doing that. I'm not a big Hex guy. I just did Pulse Chain for complete speculation, but I'm not a big Hex guy. Oh my gosh, my charts aren't showing. Why? Did I click the button accidentally? How long has that been going on for? Don't worry, Sammy. I was very salty after the loss. So salty. The way they played was just disgusting. Like they played better like 90% of the regular season games. How is that your last performance to save a season? I just found that so strange. You know what I mean? Yeah, Velo just didn't look amazing. Really no point in talking about it, in my humble opinion. Pulse Chain could get a bounce here back to the upside. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. However, the safe bet is for Pulse Chain to get back above this resistance at about 0.1464. All right. Debt ceiling vote to affect the market. Yeah, in some way, shape, or form, it'll sway. There was no charts for a good 15 minutes. What was going on there? What was going on there? Your stream, your topic, man. I appreciate that. I guess I was just kind of going over things. Show straight to be making decisions in his last moments. Original gangster, man. Amen. Hey, Sam, could you check out 1 inch? 60% of the supply gets released on June 2nd. So what do you think is going to happen? It's going to get dumped. What do you need me to check it out for? You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. It's like, and remember, to get 1 inch, you have to type in something different than type in the 1. I was a fan of 1 inch when it first came out. I rode it from like $1 up to $3, $2.87, whatever. And then it just, whatever, man. I kind of had my love affair with 1 inch. Thought it was going to be absolutely amazing. We got in super early down here, 260. Yeah, I went up to $7 on that wick, but you had to be quick on it. Really, $4 was its zone, and now it's just been falling to the downside. I mean, apparently they've been working on it and doing better, but that's consolidation, and this is bear market consolidation for a lot of these coins. A lot of coins people have just absolutely forgotten about. Like 1 inch, people have forgotten about. It was a really good place to trade too. It had really good numbers, and until they kicked people off and they weren't so decentralized anymore too. That's another reason that gives me a kind of a bad taste in my mouth. 1 inch probably could continue to dump. It does say it's bottomed already here at this double bottom, but just because if they unlock more coins, I don't see why it couldn't make a lower low. I love 1 inch. Their Binance staking was like 150 back, but then it went away. Exactly. I mean, the debt ceilings, they're going to do a debt ceiling. They're just voting on where the money's going to go and how much, who gets what, and what allocation and stuff like that. And it's really all just behind the room, boardroom politics. And it's a bunch of garbage, to be honest. So, yeah, it sucks that our entire future depends on these old fogies that can't seem to make decisions, but it is what it is. All right. Rally getting a bit of a bump off a double bottom there. Not too bad. But again, I'm not going to overpost tonight. I see the market kind of sketch. If anything, I see Bitcoin making a move further to the downside than to the upside, if not stabilizing into some type of chop. All right. And so I'm not going to be like, oh my God, it's time to open up every single coin today. But there's opportunity in the market. There's some coins that I already did discuss that I do like that could make a bit of a move. Can we look at Lena, please, after that pump? We live in a simulation, buddy. Hey, maybe we do. I love 1 inch, the Binance. Yeah. When Casper, we already talked about Casper too. We broke that down for you as well. So if you wanted to know what my take on Bitcoin was before I get out of here for the night, it's the fact that we came and we got rejected by the upper trend line. When that happens, you're likely to bounce to the bottom trend line. It is what it is. However, we seem to have stalled out at this point, which was a previous bounce, resistance, And so we're holding the zone right now for a little bit, but the daily wants to dump on you, number one. The 1 hour wants to dump on you, number two. All right, get it, number two. Yeah, so, I didn't mean to say it like that. Like, the daily wants to dump on you, number two. Anyway, I'm not that funny, right? And the 15-minute did dump out of this. So this was a rising wedge that wanted to break to the downside. But it came back to this level of liquidity, the previous resistance area, but we lost this. This is a zone we did not want to lose because there was resistance. We got back above it. I said if we can close a candle above it on the 4 hour, which we did, but only half a candle, we broke back to the downside. I'd be looking for this to bear flag on out or possibly bearish retest back here to the downside and continue down. I see two levels to look for, all right? And it's this idea here. The first idea is that we're in this wedge here that we broke down from, and that we're likely to at least come down here to the bottom of the channel at this point of control, 26,007. But we could even lose that level and go all the way back down to the bottom of the bigger channel. So there's two ideas here at play for me. Both of them are bearish. Anything could happen. We could see a massive move out of nowhere, but I believe the more than likely scenario is that the 1 hour and the 15-minute take that dump and go further to the downside. The level I'm looking at closely when I zoom in on the 1 hour time frame is going to be, if we can't hold this level, which we're attempting to hold the 200 SMA on the 1 hour, which is hopeful, but you know we're likely to make somewhat of a bear flag, I believe, on the 7 or the 15-minute, and then we can continue further to the downside. I'm looking for a move here back somewhere into this zone at 26,700. Also, when I brought up BOOKMAP, we can see that there's just more liquidity being built at 26.8, 26,500, and no real buy orders set up here to squeeze the shorts much. And it looks like we got as much of the short squeeze as we could, brought it back down, got the long. They're trying to induce a few more longs, so I believe they'll pump the price up a little more, maybe into this zone to get a few more people long, and then they're going to come crush it more than likely back down to 26.8 and 26,500. That's what I'm looking at. I would watch this little bit of a flag here. You can even kind of map it out on the 7-minute time frame. And so I would watch this, and there's a chance it could just V-shape recovery and get all the longs and the shorts. Lately, they've been going back and forth all day long. Remember, we started the live stream this morning with this diamond pattern that we had found out of nowhere. And to me, it kind of retested the diamond here. I'll put that back. It's almost trying to retest the diamond, but to me, it fell back inside the diamond. It's just messy price action, in my humble opinion. A lot of ups, a lot of back downs, a lot of liquidations. This is chop. And I need key levels to be able to kind of make a long or a short. So, like, to me, I want Bitcoin back above this high at 28,000. You know what I mean? Even 28,300. If you started a short in these areas, I would not let go of the short. You know, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say you should be taking as financial advice, but I wouldn't be letting go of the short at this area. I would stay short until we can get back above at least this wick now at 27,350. You know, we attempted to break these two wicks, but we couldn't hold it. So, Chop City for Bitcoin might be one little pump here on the 7-minute time frame, but again, I'm showing you signs of possible bear flags and continuing further to the downside. And anything is possible. I could be wrong. I'm not 100%. I tend to get it right more than I'm wrong, but you never know, right? So that's my update for Bitcoin. Spread the word to people in the trading group. Let them know this is what I'm seeing. And yeah, Elizabeth Warren getting a lot of bad press too. So. Guys, consider the alpha. Sims has liquidity locked and ownership renounced. Go get a small amount. I'm all set, man. How did we get lucky? Double streams today. Gotta love the end of the month. Close stream. Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere. I always forget, too. And then my team's like, you're going live for the end of the month? And I'm always like, yep. No matter how tired I am, no how to beat I am, I always say, yes, I'm about to go live because it is what it is. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing.